I'm Sarah Vitorino, and I love myself. Yeah. That's my dog, Coco. Isn't she cute? She's so cute! And she's girly. I love her. I put my dog up there because she's like the ultimate love teacher. People say if you want to learn unconditional love, get a dog. And if you want to learn how to give unconditional love, get a cat. So, can be real jerks sometimes. So here we are at Creative Mornings. This is me. I tried to be creative, and it didn't really work very well. But I kind of got a little bit tripped up on this idea of being creative. I don't know if all of you consider yourselves creatives, but to me, when someone says, "Oh, you're so creative," I'm like, at the moment, I'm like, "Thanks," and then afterwards, I'm like, "What? Me?" And then everything I produce from then on is held up against this creative lens, like, "Is this creative enough for you? This isn't creative enough." And then I looked at all the RSVPs for today, and I saw these like gorgeous creative faces, and I'm like, they're so creative. Oh my God, they're gonna hate me. This is not gonna be creative enough for them. So I was like, I'll do something fancy, and then I drew this thing, and I was putting these symbols, but it didn't really work. So I just want to give you an example of what it's like to try to pretend to be someone you're not. And instead, I just want to be honest about who I really am. And the whole point of me being here today is to tell you about my journey to self-love. For a long time, I would hear people say, "You really need to love yourself. You gotta love yourself. You gotta love yourself first." And usually they were saying this in response to some really unhealthy dating choices, where like I was like, "I think she's the one. What do you think?" And all my friends were like, maybe you should love yourself first. And it kind of reached a point where it was just one bad situation after another. And even in good situations where the person was amazing, that's when I was like, "I'm out of here," and I'd head for the hills. Like, "You're just amazing, bye." And then if it was a person who was really awful, I would be like, "I'm gonna settle down, this is it. This is the one." So it just kind of reached this breaking point where I felt like, I think it's time. Like, I think it's time to really face this idea that I really don't love myself. And to be perfectly honest, when I would ask myself, like, why? Like, why don't you love yourself, really? And in the privacy of my own chambers, I would say, I just don't deserve it. I don't deserve it. And so then I kind of decided, okay, like, I don't think I deserve love. I've tried a whole lot of years to live a life without self-love. Let me like turn this into like a fun research project where I'm just gonna like try it out, like see if I can accomplish this task of loving myself. And so I started out with this question, what about me is undeserving of love? And I began to go to work on answering this question. I made a shame inventory. I mean, this is just some of the things that I feel are like in the way of like self-love. Like, I would really love myself if these things didn't exist. And then there's also more, but the paper got cut off. So going over some of these things, I was like, okay, like let's just like start going through these like one by one, and like let's just like go into them and see like, what's this really about? Why do I feel so much shame here? Why do I feel like this particular thing is the reason among many that I don't deserve love? So I'm just gonna kind of go over some of them with you. We're not gonna go over all of them, but these are just some. So shame is the first one. I'm ashamed about being ashamed. I'm like constantly ashamed, and then I'm like so ashamed of myself because I'm like constantly ashamed, and I'm like, why am I so ashamed? I'm like, I wish you weren't so ashamed all the time. God, so much shame. And here are some of the big heavy hitters in my shame book. Gender. They root from different experiences in my life where I feel like maybe other people's ideas kind of like move from being their ideas to like somehow like absorbing into my pores and then all of a sudden like becoming my ideas. So gender is one particular area there. Growing up, people called me a tomboy. I didn't really like girly things. The boys were like, you're a girl, you can't be with us. Always felt like kind of like in the middle, like not quite a girl, not quite a boy. Where do I belong? Where am I? I'm ashamed, that's where I am. That's where I'm at. And in addition to that, some of the socialization around gender also contributing to a lot of shame for me. So growing up, you're a girl, girls do this, they want to do this, they're supposed to do this, and you're supposed to like it. And I was like, I don't like it. And what's wrong with you that you don't like it, right? Like, oh, okay, there must be something wrong with me that I don't like these things. Like, I don't like to wear dresses. Like, I don't like it. I don't like to wear pantyhose. I don't like it. But, like, people around me are like, you look so nice in them. Why don't you like it? No, I don't like them, but I really like my brother's hand-me-downs. I'm like, no, that's terrible. Terrible on you. Terrible. And so some of the other gender kind of messages that I got was that, okay, girls take care of other people's feelings. They don't really have needs of their own. Like, you should be invisible. Meanwhile, on the lookout, who needs something? Do you need some more water, sir? How about a blanket? Are you tired? What do you need? Should I dim the lights a little bit? And like kind of created this like super codependent monster, like, what do you need? What do you need in the back there? Are you cozy? Turn the temperature up. And that also brought about a lot of shame because as an adult, you could ask me like, oh, what are you feeling? What do you need right now? And I'd be like, I think you need a glass of water. And I'm like, no, what do you need right now? And I would be like, my God, like I have no idea. Like I couldn't even access what I wanted and needed and what my feelings were because I was so like programmed to think about others first. So that also brought a lot of shame. Attraction, I tell you, first crush, you all remember that, right? First crush, butterflies, you saw that person, you were like, whoo, breath of fresh air, right? Heart goes pitter-patter, the butterflies, the sweaty palms, right? You remember those first crushes? You're like, oh my God, I didn't even know my body could do this. Yes, yes. It's like the biggest surprise, it's so wonderful. And like, it feels really nice. My first crush was on a girl, and I was like, oh my God, this is so great. And I was like, I should tell somebody about this. It's pretty fantastic. And I started noticing other people start talking about their first crushes, and then all the girls were talking about boys, and all the boys were talking about girls, and I was like, wait a minute. Something's not right here. And I kind of got like early on, like, maybe it's something I should keep to myself. Maybe I shouldn't share this. So there was attraction, shame. And then there was like the age where I first heard the word gay. Like, do you all remember that? First time you heard gay or lesbian or queer. Was it a positive context or a negative one? Negative. For the record, everyone said negative. Negative, right? So I have this crush. I'm like, I'm gonna keep this a secret. Something's not right here. And then the first time I hear this, I was actually playing at a friend's house, and I was chasing my friend up the stairs, and she was beating me, and I was like, ah! And I like smacked her on the butt, and I was like, you always beat me, ha ha ha. We're laughing, having a good time, and it's this really fun moment. And then all of a sudden I hear, ah! Panleira! Sai da minha casa! And I was like, whoa, like what happened? Like just completely frozen, like what have I done wrong? Oh my God, what have I done? What? I was not supposed to run on the stairs. I'm not supposed to run in the house. I have my shoes in the house? Like, what is going on? And I didn't understand. She was telling me to, like, get out of her house, like, and never come back. But she used this word that I had never used before. She said panleira, which in Portuguese, I had no idea what that word meant. And so, like, it washed in shame, like, rode my bike back home. And I got home, and I was like, hey, Ma, what does panleira mean? Don't ever say that word again. Okay, I won't. And then I went over to my brother and I was like, hey, do you know what punleta means? And he was like, yeah, 2 dykes. And I was like, oh God, like, what? Like, first of all, it's a word you can't speak of. It's a word that gets you cast out of a house, never to come back again. And it's this thing that my brother thinks is really like awful and disgusting. So I wanted nothing to do with that word, right? But I felt like all of those things were me. Like I didn't realize they were talking about this idea at the time. I thought that they were talking about me. And so I kind of like didn't ever mention that I had a crush on a girl actually, and that what she said was true, that I actually was gay. So I kept that a secret, and I thought, okay, I'm just gonna not tell anyone. But, you know, as a kid, you're not super bright. So everywhere I go to school, hey, Sarah, can I borrow a quarter? Did you know that guy's gay over there? He's gay. Oh, yeah. No, he hasn't said anything, but you can just tell. Look at him. He's gay. Yeah, and her too. Don't you think she's gay? She's gay back there. I think she's gay. They're all gay. All of them. All of them but me. Right? Like, I was kind of like a bully a little bit. Like, I was like trying to point out who the other gay people were because I just wanted to make sure the spotlight wasn't on me so that, God forbid, anybody find out the truth about who I was. And I mean, you've all like heard what they say about gay people, right? It ain't pretty, right? Oh, they're pedophiles. They're sick. They're disgusting. They're sinners. They're awful. You don't want to be around them, right? Imagine growing up and like learning like that's who you are. Like, how do you love yourself? Like, how on earth does someone love themselves when the world thinks of them as all these horrible things? Like, that they're not true, right? But people live and act and behave as if they were. They're just stereotypes that have no basis in reality. But as a child, like, you don't really have that kind of sophisticated thinking, right? So you're just like, oh my God, all of these things that they're saying must be true, and all of these things they're saying must be true about me. And so, I mean, if a cousin would come over with a baby, like, Sarah, you want to hold the baby? No, I don't want to hold the baby, thank you. Because I was terrified that people would think I was trying to, like, molest the baby. Because I was convinced that, like, gay means that you're a child molester. And I was like, oh my God, I can't be a child molester. And like, how do you really be a child molester when you're actually a child? I'm not really sure. But all of these things were going through my head. And I was a little bit over-analytical even as a child. And so that stuff stayed with me, and so I pretty much suppressed my sexuality, my attraction, until I was like 21 and got to the point it was like holding a balloon underwater for long enough, eventually it's like shoots up, and it's like, okay, all right, okay, I get it. I admit it, I'm gay. Okay? I admit it. But I don't like it. Okay? So that was the next phase. Like, I'm gay, okay, fine. It's true, all right? Maybe it wasn't them, maybe it was me, but I don't like it, and I wish I wasn't. I wish I wasn't. Because it's so fucking hard. Like, it's hard. Like, you lose people. People are judging you. They're talking about you. They're, like, making whole campaigns about who you are, and you're like, really? About me? Like, you think that about me? Right? So, like, instead of, like, what is wrong with the world that, like, they think these crazy things about me? Instead, I was like, what is wrong with me that I'm this way? And so, in addition to issues around sexuality, I also have an issue with hairy legs. My legs are hairy, and they came that way. And so, for the longest time, like, if I didn't, like, just shave that day, it was an issue. It was like, oh my God, I can't wear shorts. And then, like, but who has time to shave? So it was like pants in the summer, and it's so hot. Hairy legs, a lot of shame there. Acne as an adult, come on. People meet me and they're like, you're 16? Like, I'm not going through puberty, thank you. This is just my face, and I wash it a lot. I do a lot of things. I don't know why, it just, there it is. So I kind of got into the codependence a little bit about how we're kind of socialized around gender and the bullying. And then being sexually assaulted, I think this one's kind of an important one because the shame of being sexually assaulted is bad enough, right? Because you think, oh, it's my fault, it's really awful. But like, for me, the issue around being sexually assaulted was so excruciating, was that in the moment, I kind of froze, and this thought came into my mind, and it's like, if you could like this, maybe you wouldn't be gay. And I think that's probably one of the most horrific places to be, right? Like, to really hate yourself so much that, like, in a situation like that, kind of wish you could like it. Like, so that's kind of the extent of which those messages, those negative messages, kind of sunk in for me. And, I just didn't really want to be around other gay people. I was like, I don't know if I want to be around them. So gay. Like, projection. Going to a pride parade, it's a little bit too many gay people. They're really happy. I don't know. And it's just, to be totally honest there. Like, go to a gay club. This music's really loud. There's lots of gay people. It was really hard to be around gay people because I hated myself so much, and every time I see these gay people all happy and having a good time, I was like, I don't know how they do it, being gay and happy like that, because I hated myself so much. And so this pushing people away is another thing I feel ashamed about. Like, people have been so good trying to love me, and like, oh, I love you, and I'd be like, I gotta go. And I'd be like, well, I'd love you too if you didn't wear those shoes or if you didn't chew so loudly. I just look for reasons, any reason to keep people out, because I felt so ashamed that, like, I couldn't even let people love me because I was like, no, I don't deserve love, not from me, not from any of you. So, savings account, who can save money in this day and age, but definitely some source of shame for me every time I look at my balance. And status, who doesn't want to have status? Oh, look how accomplished they are, yeah, all that stuff. Okay, so that's all the shame. A life full of shame and all these different messages and constantly beating myself up was literally like a death by 1,000 cuts. It was just like, oh, really? You have to use the bathroom? Well, there's no time. Hold it. I'd be in the market and I'd go right by the fresh fruits and vegetables. I'm like, get something frozen, that way it'll last longer. And like, I just felt like always like treating myself in this like self-punishing, like awful, horrible way. And it really did feel like I was like slowly killing myself, just hating myself so much. And so that's the kind of backdrop of where I've come from. So just FYI, I know that y'all love yourselves and this is all crazy for you, but I'm throwing myself out there, okay? Being vulnerable. So I decided to kind of go in a different direction and see how I could possibly love myself. And the way in which I did that was completely haphazard. It was just like, I'll try this, I'll try that, I'll try this, I'll try that, whatever. Like, let's just be open and see what happens. So loved by 1,000 kisses, like literally, like, have you ever, like, like, have you ever, like, kissed your own hand? Like, would you all, like, humor me? Like, reach out, bring it in, give the kiss, bring it in. And some of you are, like, looking down at your hands, I'm like, I'm kissing that. Know where it's been. There was a line I didn't have time to wash. But like, why? How could we go through our whole lives never once having, like, kissed our own, like, oh. Like, when you love something, like, don't you want to give it kisses? Like, right? So, just FYI, if you refuse to kiss your own hand, think about the self-love thing, okay? Hands need love, too. So, literally, the kisses, like, I literally do this for myself. Like, I'm feeling super anxious, and I'm like, And it helps a little bit, but sometimes it's not enough. And so in addition to kisses, I also kind of mean gestures, like tiny little gestures, like as simple as a kiss, like, hi, honey, what do you need from me today? Like, just literally, you look really scared right now. Like, how can I help you feel safe? Any tiny little gesture. Just to let myself know, I'm not here to attack you. I've done that a lot of years. I'm here to like change the tune and do some love here. So let's try that. This is a little methodology to try out if you'd like, but I'm gonna let you know how it worked for me. I love you. Whatever ways I could communicate I love you to myself, that's what I was gonna try. So I was gonna try to have like this relationship with myself where in any relationship, there's certain things that you want. You want to be seen, you want to be heard, you want to be felt. Very basic, right? Seen. Okay, how am I gonna see myself? Okay, I get in front of a mirror, and I like direct eye contact, looking right back at you, girl. And I'm like, hey, I love you. Okay, nothing happened there. Okay, what else? Like, how you doing? And then I actually would respond and be like, kind of tired. How's your day? Exhausting? Sorry. Sorry about that. I kind of ran you ragged today. Always something to do, busy, 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 no time to poop. Been like constipated for 3 days, but you think I'd just sit down and wait? No. It's like, if you haven't gone in the time that I've peed, you've missed your chance. And so sometimes I just like sit down on the toilet and be like, I'll just give you a chance. If you wanted to come now, you go ahead. I'm not joking like at all here. I'm being so literal. But this is what I mean with like real practical gestures of I love you. Being heard. Right? We just did a little example of that conversation, but sometimes I'll just go for a walk, like I'll call it a walk and talk. And I'll be walking my dog and I'll be like, all right, let's hear it. How are you doing? So stressed out. Oh my God, I'm so exhausted. So much is going on for me. Whoa, it sounds like a lot is going on for you. You seem really stressed. I am really stressed. Thank you. Yeah. What do you need right now? Well, I could really use just like a break, just like a 10-minute break to just sit, do nothing, reconnect with myself. Sounds like what you need is like a 10-minute break to just come back, right? Like just really reconnect with yourself. Oh my God, that's exactly what I need. It's called active listening. I don't know if you all have heard of it. It feels really good when another person does it for you, but it also feels really good when you do it for yourself because it's like, oh my God, you just heard me, thanks. Like you really took the time to mirror back what you just heard, like you actually were paying attention. And that kind of paying attention makes a big difference. It was like all of a sudden, like, I really do want to tell you what's going on for me because it seems like you actually hear me. And in addition to that, I wanted to be felt. Like, I want to be felt. Like, in any relationship, you want it to be felt. Your presence felt. You want to be felt. And so this is one way that I was able to tell myself, like, I feel you. I would put my hand on my heart, and I would say, I'm right here. And I really, like, come into myself and be like, I know I'm here. I'm right here. Also, a gentle caress is nice. You know? But just that kind of being held by yourself, like, I'm here. In addition to that, I also went in this direction of apologizing. I mean, you heard all of those things I just said about myself. Like, I really needed to apologize. I had a lot of forgiveness that I would need from myself. I was really hard on myself, really awful to myself, self-punishing, self-critical, judgmental. And so I just started apologizing, like, ooh, I just did that again, didn't I? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. And you think like this only works with other people, but somehow it was like, oh my God, thank you for apologizing. It means so much. And for a while I was like withholding the forgiveness. I'm like, thanks for apologizing. I'm glad you're sorry. But then it kind of got to this point, I was like, why am I like so like butthurt about this? Like, why am I withholding forgiveness from myself? And it's just like one day, like the floodgates blew open and I was like, you know what? I forgive you. I forgive you. I forgive you. I forgive you. I forgive you, give you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And it's just like over time, thousands and thousands and thousands of kisses later. So I kind of decided after this kind of getting to know period, I wanted to take this relationship to a next level. And I thought, you know what? When I'm in a relationship, I'm so fun. Like, I want to do things. I want to go on adventures. I want to go out for dinner. I want to make fancy dinners. I want to talk about my life and how great I am. And I want to learn about how great you are, too. And I was like, just waiting for that right person. I'm like, when that right person comes, we are going to have so much fun. My God, we're going to go to that restaurant over there. I'm going to make amazing meals. And we're going to go on trips. We're going to go on adventures together. Happily ever after. And I was just waiting for that person. And that person was not coming. And I'm going to tell you that you need to love yourself first became so true for me in that moment. I was like, you know, wait a minute. Why am I waiting around for someone else to give me permission to do these things that are so fun that I enjoy? And I was like, wait a minute, what if like I asked myself out? Then I'd have permission because I'd be like, oh, I'm in a relationship. I'm going with my girlfriend. So I was like, will you be my girlfriend? And then at first I was a little hesitant because I was like, I don't know, you've been kind of a bitch to me. But I'll give you a chance. Okay, let's like try it out. Let's see, trial period, okay? So I started like doing nice things for myself. So I made myself nice dinners here, little oyster mushrooms with peas and mashed potatoes, little bok choy, looks delicious. There were other times where I would make meals, like after a long day, like, okay, what do you need, hon? What do you want? I want homemade chicken soup. Homemade chicken soup, huh? Are you sure? Because like homemade chicken soup is not easy to make. Like I don't like to handle meat. Like raw meat, it grosses me out. So I was like, homemade chicken soup, that's what you want. Okay, all right. So I marched to the store. How about some kosher chicken? Does that sound good to you? Okay, kosher chicken, some organic vegetables. Yeah? Sound good? Okay, we're gonna do this. Chicken soup it is, I got you. And I made this chicken soup and afterwards sat down with my bowl and was like, oh my God, this is awful. This is awful. It just tastes like chicken water. Like it's just, I don't know how people make chicken soup, but I didn't know. And so then I was like in this weird place of like, I just made this dinner and I don't like it. What do I say? Thanks. So then it was like, oh, you don't like it? The kosher chicken and organic vegetables that I got for you and sat here and had to handle that raw stinky meat? And now you don't like it? Well, you're going to eat it because that was like $30. And so like I have these like little relationship spats where I was like, whoa. Like you wanted to make me something that was soothing and nurturing and you did a great job, great effort. Execution, not so great. Like, I don't have to eat this pot of soup. Like, I can give it to a friend. So I did, and that was also this moment of like having to kind of like come to grips with like disappointing myself and then not turning against myself and like turning this into an opportunity for shame. Like, can't you cook? You don't know how to make chicken soup? Your mom used to make it. Why can't you? So just to give you an idea, it's not all roses and butterflies, just FYI. It's a lot of work that goes into these relationships. And then I started leaving myself like little sweet love notes. So on like Friday before I'd leave, I'd like, I'd run out the door. I'm like, you know what would be really cool if on Monday I'd come into work and there was like a sweet note. And I'm like, great idea. So Hi there, sweet potato pie. Just a reminder, you are lovable, loving, and loved. By me, of course, and others. And like in the moment, it's like so silly and ridiculous, and I'm kind of giggling. But then like the weekend goes by, and you show up on Monday, and you're like, oh my God, I completely forgot about this. This is like the best way to start a Monday. Hilarious, right? Like, and my coworkers are looking over me just like, is there like a secret admirer at work here or something? And I'm like, that's for me to know and for you to find out. Yeah. Voice memos, also a nice way. Like, I have a whole like archive of like, for when you're tired, for when you're sad, for when you're lonely. And then it'll be like, hey, it's me. I know you're feeling lonely. But I'm here. You got me. What more do you want? And I'm just kidding, because she'll come, don't worry. But in the meantime, let me know what you need. I got your back. Very simple. In the moment, though, it's really funny when you hear your own voice talking to you when you're lonely and like giving you a pep talk. Very fun. Highly recommend. Dates. Started going on dates, going out for dinner, table for one. I would get ready. I'd be getting ready, and my roommate would be like, ooh, hot date. Where you going? Who you going with? I was like, oh, I'm going to dinner with myself. You're getting ready to go to dinner by yourself. No, honey. I'm getting ready to go to dinner with myself. Okay? We're an item. So one of the fun things I decided to do is go to a Hall & Oates concert. This was like, I don't know any Hall & Oates fans. Anyone? Yes! Well, the concerts used to be like off the table. No, it's way too expensive. Listen to it on Pandora. Create a station, you can hear it there. But like Hall & Oates is only like, I'm sorry, it's only gonna be a little while longer before you can hear them live, right? Time's closing in. So I decided I'm gonna take myself to this concert and literally bought a ticket, like a mid-range, and for like months looked at that ticket and I was like, I'm gonna resell it. I can get a little money for it, I'm gonna resell it. This is outrageous, over $100 to go see a concert, you can listen to Pandora for free. And, some lovely people in my life were like, you're going to that concert. Like, you need to go to the concert. And I'm like, I don't know if I deserve it. Eventually, through like all these tears, I'm like, I'm going to the concert. I deserve to see this concert. So I get there, and this is me. Like, I get there, I'm super happy, and I'm like, here, will you take a picture of me? And I was like, I'm going to do my hard rock symbol. And I was like, yeah! Turns out that's not like rock and roll. That's like, I love you in sign language. I thought it was like super badass. Like I had my leather jacket. I was like, no, like I'm at a concert, guys, like by myself, okay? With myself. And I'm rocking out. And then when I got home, I like sent it to a friend and they were like, that means I love you in sign language, right? And I was like, really? Well, I do love me. Oh, sorry, don't want to play that yet. Well, the next thing I did with myself here was Birthday Island, Catalina Island. You heard about it? On your birthday, Catalina Island, trip there and back for free. And when you get there, you get a little pin that says birthday, right? Birthday Island, it's your birthday. You're on the island with all these people who share the same birthday as you. Like everywhere you go, like happy birthday to you, no you, to all of us. And you get like a free ice cream cone, free lunch, free. It's amazing. But it's only for you, and it's only on your exact birthday. Well, my birthday was a weekday, so that was already no to like the inner like dictator who was like, weekday you can't, no, you gotta work, sorry. And I was like, but it's my birthday and it's free. And I had to have this like whole conversation. I was like, please. And then finally I was like, okay, like we're in a relationship here, we're loving ourselves. You wanna go to Birthday Island? Okay. So I took the day off of work, get in the car, I'm driving down to the port, and got like super overwhelmed with emotion. Didn't realize this was gonna happen, so I thought, oh my God, like, I should record this so I can see it later, so I can like witness myself in emotion. So I recorded it, I'm gonna share. Here we go. Thank you, Sarah, for loving me, and for taking me this far, and for loving me so well. Thank you so much. I don't recommend making videos when you're driving. Thanks, y'all. Yeah, making videos when you're driving, not the safest, self-loving thing to do, but I thought, like, what in the world? Like, I was, like, sobbing, thanking myself. I was, like, so in love with myself in that moment and grateful, like, oh, wow, you did all this for me. Thank you. So that's me with my birthday island. They think they're going to get you, like, oh, if we give this, like, one person free things, they're going to bring their friends, because no one's going to go to Birthday Island alone. This whole crowd of people is going to start going to Birthday Island, and they're going to have to get rid of the free thing, because they're like, we didn't think we were going to lose money on this. Thought we were going to attract people. Okay, so the other thing I was waiting for was I was waiting for a partner so that I could go to an international trip. I wanted to go to Portugal. It's my motherland. My parents are from Portugal. Always wanted to go, never got a chance to go, and I was waiting for the partner to go with me. And then I was like, well, we're in a relationship. Like, you really want to go to Portugal? Like, if you really want to go, like, we can save up and do this. And so then I was like, we did Birthday Island. We did Hall & Oates. Motherland, here we come. So this is me in the motherland, Portugal. That was a really big deal for me. If you are like female identified or female bodied person, taking an international trip alone where English is not the language spoken can be really intimidating, and everyone around you is gonna be like, what, alone? You can't go, you know, you won't come back alive. Like, people will scare the shit out of you, like, you cannot go by yourself. Dad will fly there, he'll be there too. No, like the whole point is to go with myself, like to just prove to myself, like I deserve this, I can do this by myself. So I did it, and my dad did not like hover in the bushes making sure I was okay. Thank God he let me have this moment. But that was also very amazing. And, you know, as I mentioned before, when I was in that really deep shame place, like I couldn't go around LGBT people. It was just too much of a reminder of how much I didn't love myself. And so I started like working on like, okay, like what is this shame about my identity? I started going to PFLAG meetings, parents, families, friends of lesbians and gays. Have you heard of it? PFLAG? I'd go to support groups and start talking about my shame. I would go to CODA meetings, Codependence Anonymous. Oops, not anonymous anymore. And talked about my shame, like literally like week after week after week, like, ugh. And then just cried it out and got some hugs. Like, I tell you, a little crying and some hugs. It's like such good medicine. And I kind of got to this point where I was like, you know what? Like, I love me, actually. Like, all these things that they say about LGBT people are just like stereotypes. It's not true. In fact, I don't think anyone out there actually hates LGBT people. They just hate the ideas of LGBT people that they're like swimming around in their heads. They just hate stereotypes. Actually, LGBT people are pretty amazing. If you don't know them, get to know them. Amazing. You're lucky. You're lucky if you know them. Even luckier if you are one. Yes. So this is a big turning point for me. I decided, you know what? I love you, and I want to prove to you that I love you. I want to march in the Pride Parade with PFLAG contingent. And so this is me marching in Pride Parade. This is like a really big moment for me. Super emotional, because before I couldn't even be around gay people, and all I was like waving to the crowd. I'm like, I love you all of you, and you, and you, and you. Really great. This is my friend Lyd. She's a Leo. She's super excited that she's in my presentation. I texted her. I was like, do I have permission to use a photo with you in it? And she was like, are you kidding me? I'm a Leo, please. Do you want others, different angles? And there's a really amazing mom back there, proud parent of her LGBT kid. Love those parents. And so, in conclusion today, I just want to leave us with this quote. There is no such thing as too much self-love. Even too much is not enough. And I say that because just because I've done these really amazing, loving things for myself, and just because I'm in this loving relationship, doesn't mean I ever reach this point of like, oh, no, I've loved myself. I marched in the Pride Parade. I'm good. Done. It's an ever-evolving, ongoing process. In my work here at the center, we go out to child welfare agencies and probation and foster agencies, and we train people on LGBT competency, basically. Like, LGBT kids are great. You should love them. Pretty great. And that seems simple enough, but like people in the audience, you wouldn't believe there are so many people who say the most hateful, horrible things, like, oh, they're sick. They're awful. It's gross. It's wrong. I won't support them. And then I leave there and I'm like trying to resist the urge to not think, I'm sick, I'm awful, I'm wrong. No one supports me. And then I have to be like, oh, no, you don't. No, you don't. Been down that road. Not going down that road again. I'm right here. What do you need? And so now I can kind of look at myself in the mirror, eye-to-eye contact, and I can say, what about you is undeserving of love? Nothing. Thanks, y'all.